You are listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
The Chainsword, used throughout the Imperium, from the frontline commissar to the Emperor's own angels, the Astartes. With its teeth honed to the finest monomolecular edge, it is the perfect weapon to deliver the Emperor's wrath to the mutant, the witch, or the heretic. Emperor be praised.
Welcome, everyone, back to another episode of Call Lore. I'm Ben.
I'm Eric. And I'm Jerry.
And today we're covering the Chainsword.
Yeah. One of the more brutal weapons, I would say, in 40K, or at least one of the more well-known brutal weapons in 40K.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's definitely one of the more signature weapons of 40K, if not the signature weapon of 40K.
Right. Yeah, I think it's in kind of competition with the bolter there, but it's kind of hard to say which.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I probably said that when we covered bolters, too, that it is the signature weapon. But honestly, those two are probably battling it out for first, I'd say.
Yeah. Let us know which one you think is the most iconic weapon of the two.
I prefer the Chainsword myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
A specific variant, but we'll get into that. But
Ooh.
I do like the Chainswords. I thought they were fun.
Yeah. Feel like I knew what a chainsword was before I even knew what 40K was, to be honest.
It's
Yeah.
a chain sword.
Chainsword. Yeah.
Well, listen, it could be a sword made of chains.
Oh, that's true.
Yep.
Yeah.
It could be a sword that's like a whip that's got, like chain link with a blade around it.
Ooh.
Just like a sword hilt with a chain like flaccidly hanging.
Jerry, there are very few words that aren't racial slurs that we don't use on this show. Flaccid is one of them. Anyway. But no, the Chainsword is pretty awesome. And it is incredibly brutal. But I want to ask a question to you guys. Why?
Why? Why do they use it, or why is it so brutal?
Why use it?
Okay. So I think, as messy as they are, it could have something to do with the efficiency of it. There was a term that apparently veterans in the Imperium use called limbing, where they'll just cut through someone's limb and keep on moving, keep hacking, because they're just going to keep bleeding out. It leaves like a very ragged wound.
Okay.
I think it's psychological.
Okay. Yep.
I think that this weapon brings a lot of intimidation to the battlefield and could really make you think twice about approaching the person wielding this weapon.
I would run. Yeah.
Oh,
that's fair.
definitely.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh, man. I think it's probably, I'm going to have to say, probably a combination of both. I don't know that efficiency is the word that I would use to describe a chainsword. I love chainswords, but I don't know that I would use the term efficiency.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moving parts.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay.
You do have to replace the blade.
Yep.
Mid-battle,
Right.
They do run on fuel, so it is not something that can run indefinitely, although there are some like artificer old ones that have
Right.
fuckery amongst them.
Generators in them.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But so I think it leans more towards the intimidation factor. I also think that I wouldn't call it efficiency by any stretch of the imagination, but I think limbing is an extreme variation of that, because I'm betting that's more for Astartes.
Right.
Whereas commissars can wield chain blades.
Yep.
Or chain swords specifically. I do think there is a bit of easier time injuring somebody with this than you would with a regular sword.
Yeah, it relies less on the strength of your swing.
Right, because it bites and grabs.
Yeah, and it pulls itself kind of through too, along with, yeah.
So I read an interesting thing, and I couldn't find where this was stated at, but I read an interesting thing that said that Astartes chains blades rotate clockwise to pull someone in,
Oh,
and pull the person closer, whereas the civilian ones go the opposite direction.
is that right? Okay, I hadn't come across that.
I only found it in like one, like it was a few comments that somebody made in one video, and I couldn't find where they had verified that. So that's just one of those things that's just kind of hovering out there. So if anybody knows where that, if that is verified, where that comes from, let me know. I think that is interesting though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, just a variation in the way it rotates for a specific purpose like that.
And that's going to make a difference about like where the debris comes out. And
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, debris. Ugh.
I mean,
Debris.
the chunks.
the spittle.
But what is a chainsword? Let's start there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's a chainsaw sword.
There you have it.
And so find us on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter.
Leave a comment, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for listening.
See you guys next time.
I love it.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why I was like, oh, this will be a fun episode, because they really are that simple.
Yeah.
It is a usually one-sided chainsaw in the shape of a sword. That's it.
There you have it. It's essentially I mean, they must have based it off a chainsaw. Like, I don't think that's disputable at all.
What, the game designers?
The game designers.
Sure,
in the meta.
Yeah. It seems like in lore, though, they originally came from the Eldar.
Okay, that was going to be a question I asked you guys, because I was kind of trying to figure out, it's like, would it have been the Eldar first or the Orcs? Because they both have a version of it.
It was definitely Xenos.
Yes, definitely Xenos first.
So to me, it makes sense. It makes logical sense that it'd be the Orcs that come up with it first.
Right.
But I don't see the Eldar adopting it.
From the Orcs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're too arrogant for that.
Why-
I think that's a good point.
mean, you can't really adopt Orc technology, right? Because it's war energy and it's just really stupid random shit thrown together
that suddenly works the way that they intend.
Yeah. So
despite the mess to its design.
I actually could believe that the Eldar and the Orcs came up with it simultaneously and independently.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I could see the Eldar having like a really refined, like small toothed one for some purpose, and then the Orcs being like, we can make that spikier. And
make it
Bigger
louder.
spikes.
and then just really bring the Orc brutality to it.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. I could see that.
Yeah. Either way, I don't see the Eldar adopting it from the Orcs.
Right.
I just don't see that being a scenario. So I have to believe that the Eldar had some version of it first, and then the Orcs went wild with it.
I think there's a pretty strong argument for that. I think you've pretty much got it there, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
knows?
Let us know what you think. But yeah, the Eldar, I don't think they're going to copy anybody else. And I like the thought of it. It's like it perhaps started as a tool for them. Like, oh, we just need something for this.
We chop trees with this.
Yeah. And then they're like, now we can chop other aliens.
Yeah. I mean, we see that with like the case of the Imperial Knights, which we haven't covered, but the Imperial Knights were originally designed, they believed, to be like building and log clearing, and of course they were then adapted into battle as well.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So there's definitely precedence for that.
Yeah.
But ultimately I don't think anybody can argue that it is the Imperium that really made the chainsword like,
yeah, popular.
yeah, and really kind of took the design and ran with it.
Yep, that's true. They have a whole bunch of variations and stuff, and they've been using it like as far back as like Thunder Warrior times, right?
Yeah, definitely the dark age of technology.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. It is. And one of the benefits of being the dark age of technology is the teeth, the blades of a chain axe or chain sword rather, unless they're a very specific type of chain sword, like the Space Wolves, they don't use this. They don't have to, but it's that monomolecular edged weaponry.
Yeah.
Which you find in 40K.
Yeah.
So they molecularly are able to sharpen it.
Yeah. So like I'm by no means a blade expert, but like sharpness is how thin, how narrow the edge of the blade gets at the end.
Right.
And basically what they're saying is that the edge of that blade is one molecule thick.
Whoa. That's sharp.
Yeah.
I feel like, can obsidian get that sharp? Is that one of the, or
I
maybe
think it's
not
close
quite
to
that
that,
sharp,
but I don't think there's anything. I don't think we can.
get
I don't think
one
we can,
molecule
yeah,
thickness.
I don't think we can actually observe that. Maybe we can. I'm not a science major.
I think the Space Wolves used tempered diamonds for some of theirs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for their frost blades.
For their frost blades? Tempered diamond.
And Kraken teeth.
Yes. Yeah, that
that's
was something
pretty
I
cool.
was going to bring up is, they would, because they have Kraken on their home world, if you
These
didn't know.
Giant.
Yeah.
We'll have to do an Alien Xenos episode at some point.
Yeah, yep. But they would take the teeth from those blades and use them, which it's crazy to me that like an animal's teeth, no matter how crazy the animal, like can just bite through armor and stuff like that. The way that,
Yeah. Angron's chain axe was the same way.
oh, really? Like Kraken teeth or some other?
It was a
toothed
creature's
animal.
It was an animal's tooth.
Urgh.
So Angron's original chain axe Widowmaker, I think, was made had teeth for chain.
Yeah.
For blades as well. But that monomolecular material comes from the Eldar because they use it much more often. Most famously in the Harlequin's Kiss.
Which
is a really terrible weapon. Really quick, the Harlequins are like the Eldar Special Forces. I think we covered them. We might have covered the Harlequins quiz.
Yeah.
If we did, it was in the Eldar episode, which means I don't remember and you didn't watch it.
So there we go.
It does not matter. But basically, the Harlequins are the Eldar Special Forces, and the Harlequin's Kiss is a big hollow hypodermic needle that they carry, that they have like on their wrist, and they punch you with it. And when they punch you with it, out pops 5 or 6 tendrils of this monomolecular filament, like just blades, like these little blades, and they pop up and they travel along your arteries, and they're double-edged, and they slide up and then slide back into the needle before they pull it out.
What a terrible way to die.
Yeah. Just like a mile-long paper cut throughout your innards.
Yeah.
That'd be horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awful.
Oh, fuck the Eldar. Terrible.
Racist bastards.
I'll take the Chainsword.
Yeah.
if I had to
Yeah.
choose.
Although that sounds pretty agonizing too, but not that agonizing. At least it's
Fuck, I don't
localized.
know, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, yeah, the Harlequin thing would be faster.
Yeah, that's true.
It would
It
be a
probably
lot
would not
faster.
take long for you to bleed out from that.
No. But the Chainsword also comes in a lot of cool variations as well.
Yeah. So there's one called the Eviscerator, which is a two-handed
It's the broadsword.
Yeah, it's the
I love
broadsword of the
that.
chainsword.
I love anything two-handed, like great sword.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
great. So when I read that there were two-handed chainswords, I was like, that's what I would want.
That
That is what I would lug around and hurt myself trying to lift.
Yeah, especially so. Like, I think the most famous version of one that I know of is Storm's Teeth,
Ooh.
which is Rogel Dorn's Eviscerator.
Okay. Yep. I knew there was at least one Primarch that used a chainsword. It was
Oh.
Rogel Dorn.
No, Rogel Dorn
Oh.
carried one. It was Storm's Teeth.
Gilliman did too, didn't he?
No, I don't think so.
No.
But Lehman Russ did. He carried Kraken Maw.
Kraken Maw. Yep. Complete with Kraken teeth.
Yep.
I imagine the Kraken teeth, because you have to replace the chains on your chain sword and stuff like that. I imagine those are the more expensive ones to replace.
I guess on the regular ones, the replacement chains are usually found with like lasgun ammo and stuff. They actively
keep
make
them
sure that the ammo is available for them.
And
oh,
it's-
nice. Yeah.
And it's pretty easy to change too. Like Hive thugs and gang members are able to replace them without much problem, and they're pretty, tarded. So
right.
That was a cool feature of this weapon. I thought was neat that like the regular warriors and stuff can like work on them and maintain them. They don't have to take them to like a tech priest or anything.
Yeah, or
It's
like
just
some-
like it's such a simple guttural weapon that they can work on it themselves and know how to use it and change the oil and everything in it.
Yeah.
So
and it's
there's-
not as specialized as like a bolter or something like that.
there's Storm's Teeth.
Oh my god, look at that thing.
Yeah, can you imagine?
That's girthy.
It's literally the height of an Astartes. So like
Oh.
7 foot, 7+ foot.
Oh
Definitely
my
not,
God.
not flaccid.
No, definitely not.
Right. So there's also chain axes, which if you're a fan of the World Eaters,
Oh yeah, you know all about the chain axes, and those have of course it's an axe, so it's a heavier swing aided by that mowing chain, so they're cutting through people rather quickly, I would imagine.
Then there's the Nostraman chain glaive, which is actually my favorite.
Ooh,
Used
yeah.
by the Night Lords. Most famously Sevatar, of course. It is a poleaxe that has the chain blade on it on the end, and then it's got a giant curved blade on top of that.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Give you some reach.
I think probably. Oh, and of course, the frost blade wielded by the space wolves with kraken teeth or diamond edged blade chains. Yeah, I don't know whether to call it a chain or a blade. I guess chain.
Those ones glow blue, don't they? Because of the something the space wolves are doing.
Because there's a bioluminescence to the teeth. Is that or the diamond ones?
I think it's because of.
I think it's the magic. The weird they put in it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So they have like the glowing blue diamond bladed kraken tooth.
Oh my god.
Chainsaw. I bet that's cool looking.
I'll bet.
Oh, look at that one.
Yeah.
The chain glaive.
Yeah, I think that is probably my favorite variation.
Yeah. That'd be an efficient weapon.
Oh yeah. Yep. You can puncture and slice and
then once you impale them, it pulls them down onto the
yeah.
And then that little part that sticks out keeps them from going down onto your handle. So then once they hit that, you can just slide them off.
Oh.
Provided you turn the blade off.
Have like an active like sheath on there where you can just like clean someone off of it.
Oh. That is probably the worst part about these things is that they're just pulling you along or the pulling and the ripping. It's just terrible. There's no clean cut to it. You're just like instantly in agony and shock.
Like me and Ben have both been around chainsaws before.
Yeah.
And if you like, it's slow. It's a slow cut.
Yeah.
You put it in something and it's grinding stuff away, not really, slicing through it.
Yeah. But a chainsaw's blades are kind of like this.
Mhm.
They're kind of this. People can't see, but they're kind of like almost stacked side by side.
Alternating?
Yeah, they're alternating side by side.
Yeah.
This is just this is more like a table saw.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's just like
that's a
lots
good
of
point.
cuts.
Yeah, it's like a band
fast.
saw
Yeah. Yeah.
more than it is a chainsaw. I think if you were to go blade type for blade type.
Right.
But nevertheless, one nick in this, if it hits you one time.
Oh yeah, it's doing like catastrophic local damage, even if you just kind of catch the very edge of the swing or something like that.
And then, but it's also to say that just because it is a brutal weapon doesn't mean that you wield it with no finesse.
Right. Actually, it seems like it's more important to wield it with finesse because of how much damage you can do to the chains, and you're throwing teeth off the chains and stuff like that.
Yep.
So the more precise you are with it, the longer it's going to last you before you have to change it out.
Mm-hmm.
So
it would take skill to use them, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. If you're going up against somebody with armor, you have to be aware of that because, that's the potential for breaking teeth. You have to aim for like joints and stuff like that.
And if you parry, you have to like use the back of it.
Yeah.
The
Use that back edge.
Or the blunt side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Instead of trying to parry with the toothed edge. Yeah. Because that's how you're going to lose teeth. And then, suddenly you've got a regular sword in the middle of battle if you're not careful.
Or worse than that, a baseball bat.
Yeah, that's true.
Although, I mean,
in the hands of an Astartes.
Astartes now has a metal club with a spiked grip on it. Oh no,
that is not necessarily better. You just might die faster, because he'll bludgeon you in the head instead. Now, Titans often have like chainsword.
I was going to ask about that.
That's my question. Yeah, I'm assuming they do. I feel like I've seen it before.
I know knights do, definitely.
Knights do for sure. And well, that yeah.
I was going to ask if there was any Titans that had like a claw that was like each finger was a chainsword, and it would just like reach down and grab people and pick them up
and let their guts
just
and
let them
bones
rain down over like their teammates
over the battlefield. Yeah,
Titans are normally like a ranged kind of thing, but
right, yeah,
but that would be a really brutal like mech to be walking around the battlefield.
Oh, seriously, just like scooping up people and dropping their shredded bits.
I also thought about one that could like sort of wield it like a chainsword, but like Titan sized, like that giant mining equipment they have like in Russia.
Oh,
yeah, the big
I know
thing
what
that
you're
falls
talking
into
about.
the mountain.
Yeah,
and just a Titan carrying that around and like sweeping it across the battlefield and just eliminating,
mowing the lawn.
Yep,
mowing the lawn.
Just mowing the lawn.
Whole armies are now pulp.
Nice Titan. What do you call that one, John Deere?
So there is a thing called a Desolator class chainsword, which is wielded by Titans.
Oh my god, Desolator class. That's probably the most unnecessary chainsword.
Yeah.
of
Well,
them all.
I find it very necessary.
Orc Titans also have chain blades.
Oh, no. Yeah, I just don't even want to think about orcs with these things. That's just like singing, like, singing battle songs or something while they're just they probably don't sing, but I imagine that they're as joyful
I'm
enough
sure
to
some
sing.
of them probably do.
They call it a chain choppa.
Chain choppa.
Nice.
Yeah.
There are chain fists.
What? What's that look like?
Ooh.
So there's a really famous Marine called Tiberus. He is the chapter master of the Carcharodons, or the Space Sharks. And he is big. He's not quite Primarch big, but he's up there.
Ooh.
And he wields a power clawed chain fist. So it's a power fist, which is the big ones that have the energy fields that you punch with. And then he's got the power claws on top of it. And then what makes it a chain fist is when he opens up his hand, there are two chain blades from the palm basically down the middle.
Down his forearm.
Down his forearm.
Yeah.
Oh man, he would win slap fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would.
So he can claw you, grab you, and then when he grabs you, the chain blade will just pull you down his arm and out.
Ugh.
Oh,
Wow. Just grab and drop, grab and drop, grab and drop.
like a shark.
Yeah.
That's
cool. Oh, nice. That is like a shark. That's a good point. Made me,
All while having those power claws that they believe, that rumor has it, are from Corvus Corax. They're his
Oh, yeah,
old gauntlets.
because he had the talons.
Yeah. And they're huge. And this guy's supposed to be huge too. So, yeah.
So yeah,
Ugh.
the chain weapon is varied and horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, brutal.
So one thing though, to counter because I voted efficiency earlier in the episode as opposed to intimidation. A lot of the times the Imperium is facing things that just won't be intimidated.
That's true. The Necrons, the Tyranids, the Orcs.
Yeah.
But I do wonder, how often are they fighting Xenos versus how often are they fighting the humans in reality?
That's a good point. Yeah, they really do have to have a lot of compliance to enforce. Even still, I guess compliance is not the right word because that's a historical term too. But, forcing people in line. They have a lot of rebellions on their hands and stuff like that.
Chaos cults.
Chaos cults.
Mutants.
Oh, yeah, mutants. That's true.
And you can, although it is super, 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 super hard, you can demoralize orcs.
Oh, yeah, you can.
The Alpha Legion did
What
it
an
once.
interest- Which is just terrible. Man, I don't even know what we're going to do when we get to our Alpha Legion episode. Good God. Like,
How did they do it?
how did they do it?
They
It's
don't-
going to be like the statement of that fucking episode.
Oh,
So the reference for that is, it's in Fear to Tread, I believe, where it's from the Blood Angels' point of view, and they're teamed up with the Alpha Legion, and they're besieging a planet full of orcs. And they're kind of working out, like, okay, how do we approach this thing? Like, is it going to be this? It's going to be this all-out battle, so on and so forth. And the Alpha Legion are like, let us go in first, and then you just provide an unbreakable perimeter around that planet. So this Blood Angel's like, okay, the Alpha Legion go in, and it's like radio silence for a little while, and all of a sudden all hell breaks loose, and the orcs just start fleeing the planet.
Yep. We don't know why.
The Blood Angels don't know why.
Oh, okay.
And
They're
the blood,
just fleeing
the Blood Angels were able to mop them up.
on their way out. So, yeah.
It's like Podrick in the whorehouse. Do we ever find out? Or
No.
I don't think so. It's funny.
So it can be done somehow.
Yeah, somehow. Probably not with chainswords.
No, I doubt
Yeah,
it.
yeah, doubtful.
Jerry, you got anything that
the most common Imperial version is the Mark 11. That's the current model.
the Mark 11?
It's called the Hell's Tooth. Hell's Teeth.
Hell's Teeth. Okay, there we go. That rings a bell to me. Yeah, Hell's Teeth being a pattern.
Yeah, we got everything on my notes.
Right
Nice,
on.
cool. I imagine. So, okay, who's more iconic wielding the chainswords to you guys, the Astartes or the Commissars? For me, it's actually Commissars.
So I'm a Blood Angels fan. So for me, it's the Astartes because we have the Flesh Terrors.
The Flesh Terrors.
They're a pretty hardcore Blood Angels unit that are pretty well known for using chainswords. Their chapter master, Gabriel Seth, I believe his last name is Seth. I believe it's Gabriel. Seth is the running line of the chapter master name, so I always get confused on which one is which one is which. But he wields a pretty massive double-edged chainsword.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, those are more dangerous because you end up getting a lot of injuries from it coming back at you.
Yeah.
Oh, just like a chainsaw in our world.
Yeah.
I believe they call them mercy chainswords
Yeah.
What? Mercy.
because you're going to need it.
You have to be a maniac to use that.
That's
Yeah,
fucking great.
And basically all you have to do is just remove the safety plate off the back.
Oh, jeez.
It's
Oh,
like
no.
a berserker fighting style.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
It includes swinging it like 360 degrees. And
Oh, wow. Okay.
there's a very specific, oh man, I didn't even think to look this up. There is a specific sword fighting style that is this very large sword that's all about spinning it in
Is
circles.
it the Zweihander?
Or the Claymore?
No, I think it's the
Okay.
Zweihander.
Because
Oh.
it's so very big and long, you can't really like do little swings with it. It's better to just swing it around.
Okay.
So the entire
just in
fighting
full.
style is about spinning it 360 degrees.
You're like a bladed tornado.
Yes,
Mhm.
and so it would be
Oh.
something like that. Good
Cool.
call.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Way to
damn.
reach out of your ether, we'll call it that, and pluck that information out of there.
This is why Jerry's on Cult of Lore.
Varied interests.
Varied interests of really cool shit.
Yeah.
The two-handed swords, guys.
Yeah. And I imagine having a double-edged chainsword means you're not meant to parry. You're just meant to be all out offensive.
I would assume, and this thing is huge. Like it's like basically the size of him.
Ugh.
So it's a momentum weapon,
Yeah.
even for an Astartes.
Ugh. Okay. So before we go any further, I knew this would be a shorter episode, so I did something a little special, and I did not tell Ben or Jerry about it. I'm so sorry.
Oh God!
I wrote a haiku about chainswords.
Why?
Well, love that.
I was inebriated, and I'm doing it anyway.
I didn't authorize this.
No, he didn't.
I reserve the right to roast.
Teeth spin angrily. Chainsword screams into armor. For the Emperor.
I hate this.
It's a bop.
It's a what?
It's a bop.
Bop?
It's a banger.
Oh, thank you, Jerry. I appreciate that. Sorry, Ben.
All right.
Okay. I think
So
with
you-
the haiku out of the way, that's all I've got.
Right. So you guys might have noticed that this is a shorter episode, and that's because we bit off more than we could chew, as usual.
Yeah.
So we said that we would be adopting a new holiday every year.
Yep. A new holiday special that we would keep going back to.
And last year we did St. Patrick's Day. We were
Yep.
gonna hit Easter this year.
Yeah. They both ended up in the same month.
Same month. Because so Easter's a little bit early, and that kind of fucked up our schedule. So we're doing 3 this month.
Yep.
This one being a little bit of shorter one. It is our only 40K episode this month.
For March. Yep.
But don't worry, next month we'll follow up with a Primarch.
Yeah. Or something else.
I think it's going to
40K.
be Magnus the Red, probably.
Ooh, okay. Cool.
But we'll see.
Our
Don't
psycher
hold,
boy.
don't hold me to that.
Yeah.
We'll
yeah,
see.
we'll just see. Let us know if you have any suggestions.
Yeah, if there's a Primarch
Yeah.
we haven't covered yet,
Yeah.
and you would rather us do that instead, that's not Sanguinius or Horus.
We're holding them back. for
I
late
have,
game.
I have to finish the End and the Death before we do those. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm midway through the second one. It is not my fault that they chose to make that bitch a trilogy.
So, okay. Yeah, that's about it. Well, time for the wrap up stuff. Which, man, I swear I'd just write this out so I could just read it off. And look, I wrote a haiku instead.
Maybe you can do the wrap up in a haiku too.
No.
Oh, okay, fine.
Just 575, 575, 575.
575. So, thank you guys so much for listening. If this is the first time you're catching Cult of Lore, we are often covering Warhammer 40K. We also cover, as Ben mentioned earlier, a plethora of other lores and mythologies. So, like for St. Patrick's Day, it's now a tradition to do Irish mythology and stuff like that.
For this Easter, we'll be doing the Goddesses of Spring.
Goddesses of Spring.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And a lot of other cool stuff.
Avatar's coming down the pike.
Oh, yes. That one is that's
The
on
Last
my,
Airbender, not
not the blue people.
Not the blue people.
Yeah. So, let's see. We have other shows on Cult Talk Net. So in addition to Cult of Lore, there is Cult Talks Conspiracy, where Ty and Bailey talk about all sorts of different conspiracy theories. And it's really interesting and educational and entertaining. There's also Cult of Campbell, which has a special event this month. Bruce Fest is happening virtually, and Cult Talk Net is involved in that, so that'll be fun. But we're typically talking about Bruce Campbell and his films on that show. Let's see. There's also Cult of Russell, where we do the same thing, except with Kurt Russell and his movies. And that's a slow-growing show, but the more interest you show, the more we're likely to do.
Hey, listen, if you can get them to stop doing Evil Dead bullshit.
It's like a dead eye just won't die.
If you can get them to stop with that shit, we can then move on to Russell.
Yeah.
Which would make me a lot happier.
It would. Ben's excited for Cult of Russell.
Yeah, there's so many movies I want to watch. I'm like, oh, we can't watch that. We gotta wait for Russell. And then they're like, hey, did you know there's a new Evil Dead movie coming out? I'm like, God damn it.
There's also American Pie Slices, which is a 6-part miniseries done by Ty and Michael, where those 6 episodes are dedicated to the one movie, American Pie. So that's a lot of fun and very interesting. And yeah, they've also got some good Apple related drink recommendations if you listen to that show. So there we go. There's all that stuff. Liking, sharing, and subscribing really help. Leaving comments is awesome. Ben is great at getting back to you. If you see Inquisitor Frost on there, that's Ben.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Eric and Jerry need to,
step it
become
up.
social, because I'm actually the least social of the 3.
He is, if you could believe that. So yeah, cool. That's it. Let's buzz on out of here, I guess. So I'm not taking Jerry's job. No, I'm not taking. Oh no. I'm editing that out.
Oh
no.
I like it.
Well, since he done fucked it all up. All right, guys, join us next time. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Call Lore. With that, I'm Ben.
I'm Eric.
And I think we can cut it there.
Beautiful.
With the twofer.